Hello, I'm Michael Kujan, and in our adult faith formation session this week, we looked at marriage and family life. We've looked at the church's recent teaching about how families can draw their strength from Christ to live the vision of what God has in store for them. We've talked about the family as the original cell of social life. Basically, without the family, you can't have a society. It would break down. So society has a great interest in the family to ensure that it follows a good course, enabling the parents and their children to live well together and to flourish. In the Catholic vision, marriage is sacramental. It involves a total self-gift of spouses for one another. They experience a deep unity with one another. Their marriage is indissoluble. It's meant to last until death do they part. And their marriage is meant to be fruitful, perhaps bearing children, and also sharing one another's strength to do what they are meant to do in this world. Parents have a responsibility in the family to educate their children, and children, as they mature, have a growing responsibility to contribute to family life. In a recent teaching, Pope Francis in 2015 taught that the Word of God in the Bible gives us many examples of families who struggle. We turn to those passages to see how God can be at work even in situations where people are imperfect. And so we in the church today believe that families can draw strength from Christ to grow in their love. And the church's teaching on family is not some lofty vision in the clouds that we can never accomplish, but it's something that we can gradually grow towards as the church works with us in the Spirit of God to get us there. There are many challenges in our world today that make it difficult to live well in family, sometimes without being grounded in virtue and a sense of meaning and purpose. Families can break down into each individual member being concerned for themselves only. Sometimes we don't have the role models that we really need to understand ourselves as men and women of God, meant to combine our efforts together in marriage. And in all the difficult situations we find today, the church offers the grace of Jesus Christ, wants to walk with us as we struggle, and point us towards those things that will help us in our families to be a sign of God's love wherever we go. We are to have a special pastoral concern for those who are struggling in difficult or painful situations in their marriages, in their broken families. We as the family of God, as the church, want to include them, to help them with their sense of who they are as a child of God. In 1 Corinthians 13, Paul teaches us that love is patient, love is kind, and so much more. If we draw from Christ's virtue, from his strength that he gives us through grace, we can live according to the divine love of God, which imitates how we are to share in God's love. We always realize we need to grow in love. It's an ongoing process. Our families are not all perfect. They need to be families that grow, families that are humble enough to realize we need God. We can't do this on our own. So, throughout our marriages, Christ should be at the center of it all. That helps us to form our children well, for our children to be responsible and well-formed individuals. And the Pope says we should never lose hope in what Christ has called us to be, because Christ will get us there if we only trust him. Next week, we'll be talking about the dignity of work and the rights of workers. If you can join us, I would hope to see you all there.